Hello my Scrappy friends, it is Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters and thank you for joining me for a Kitaholic Kits design team layout. I created this layout using a super cute cut file by Deborah Adler Hunt that I found over on Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches Facebook group. So I started this layout by getting a piece of white scrap paper and gutting it to use as a border. And I pulled a plain blue sheet of paper from my stash. It's one of those super thin papers, so it can be a little bit difficult to work with, but it was the perfect color match to this paper that is currently upside down to match a couple of the spots in this paper. I really loved this spotty paper. It really spoke to me. It was one of my favorites in the kit, but oh my goodness, there were so many good ones in this kit. But this one just really stood out as a super fun paper. So I cut this paper into, I don't know what strips they will be. They started off by being 3-inch strips, and I cut 4 of them. But then, of course, I then needed to trim them down a little bit so that I could have, I didn't want them all touching. And then I cut the blue paper down a little bit so put the white border on. So then I had to cut these strips down a little bit, and oh my goodness, life is so complicated. So I'm not actually sure what size I ended up cutting these arrows in. Just imagine 3-inch strips that are then cut down. Maybe I cut a quarter of an inch, but maybe I cut more than that. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I cut less than that. I don't know. I'm sorry. But you get the idea, right? And then I cut, I want to say about 1 inch off each one. It might have ended up being 1.5 inches to 1.5 inches. I don't measure, you guys. I don't know. I just cut what looked good to have varying heights. And originally thought I was going to set these up as like steps going down, like largest to smallest, but when I organized my title, I decided that didn't really work because some words in my title were big and some words in my title were small, but they made a sentence. So I just had to reorganize them so that when I put the title on, they were in order, basically. So like the biggest words had to go on the longer strips and the smaller words had to go on the smaller strips, and then those strips just had to be in order that the sentence made sense. I hope that made sense. And the way I made my title actually is I used the thickest from the kit, but I spelt my own words. So I think one of them said bloom, one of them said hello, one of them said, I don't even know, other words from the thicker sheet. And I just mixed them up to write what I wanted it to say. And then I actually heat embossed them. So I used black embossing powder, which looks incredible because it makes like a nice hard top, and the foam of the thicker was white, so it looks super cute. But you do have to be so careful because you can melt the thicker and like warp the thicker. So it's this really fine line between overheating and like not heating enough that the embossing powder turns. So if you are going to try this, maybe test it on like a Z or something, a letter that you know you don't really need, and just go lightly. Just, I don't know, wave your heat gun quickly so that it's heating, but it's not too much concentrated heat onto the thicker. That is my piece of advice. That's for foam thickers. If you're using like chipboard thickers, you'll be fine, but these ones are foam from the kit. And as you can see, it says loyal to the game. So I've got the arrows, I've got my title, and then I have 4 photos that I trimmed right down, which was good and bad. To be honest, I probably should have just cut them even smaller. I originally cut them as 3x4 size, which I just automatically do all my photos in 3x4 size unless I really, really love it and want it big. But then to fit it in here, I had to cut it really small, and I almost lost too much of some of the photos. You know, the boys, I've cut half their faces off, but it is what it is for now. If I really hate it and it really bothers me, I'll print the photos again and stick them on again a bit smaller. Like I'll actually print the photos smaller so I don't lose so much of the boys' heads and faces. It's not all of the photos, but like that one where they're holding the cup, I've nearly completely cut them off. And the one in the center on the word the, I've literally cut half their faces off. You can see the man in the middle fine, but not the boys. So we'll see. Then I wasn't going to do this, but it just suited the layout so much better. I ended up pulling ephemera from a boy collection I have and used some sort of game footy related pieces of ephemera. Yeah, and I know that we're allowed, in inverted commas, you can pull whatever you like to work with your kit, but I wasn't going to. I was just going to use the kit and use the florals, but I decided I don't often make football-related layouts yet, so I might as well just pull these out and use these while they suit. So that is what I have done. There's even 2 pieces of ephemera the same, but it's all good. So I'm sticking all those on. These are so old that the chipboard's not even sticky anymore, so I have to add glue. And so now I've put those on, I'm going to pull just the teeny tiny florals off the sticker sheet because they're cute and it just works so well. The colours are just a spot on match. I don't know how Steph does it, but she does it every single month and she's amazing. So I am just sticking on the teeny tiny florals and a word. I'm going to put one of those word phrases on each one as well. And to keep it all cohesive, I'm actually going to use the same font or the same style of word phrase, because on this sticker sheet you'll notice that there was like the pink ones and the green ones and the white ones and the purple ones, but sometimes I mix those up and it's totally cool. But for this layout I am going to use all the same because it just seems to fit. Like, there's a lot going on with this layout and I think it just looks a little bit nicer to have it a bit more cohesive. You may or may not notice that the thickers are 2 different sizes. So the loyal and the came from the same sized thicker, and to and game came from a different size thicker. That was just a happy coincidence that it ended up alternating. I did deliberately not mix the thickers, so there were small ones and large ones within one word. I probably could have, but I didn't. And my helpful hint is I used a website called like Scrabble Cheat or something like that to help me come up with what the sentence was going to be, because I am not clever enough all the time to look at the letters and just see something that makes sense. I don't think I saw the word loyal at all. I did see the word game though, so Scrabble Sheet gave me loyal. I just saw the word game, so then therefore it wasn't so hard to come up with the little words in between. You may now start to get dizzy because my layout starts twisting and turning all the way around, because my little cherub in the corner is here to help. He is putting on some enamel dots and he was very forgiving of the fact that I moved them every single time he put them on, because he didn't put them where I wanted them and I'm a perfectionist. So he was just here to help, and that's little Tom Tom, if you can't tell by the fingers, because he's not your child. And so, yeah, this is basically the end. I'm going to put on some gold and black splatters, because you know me, I can't have a single layout without splatters, and I can't have a layout without gold. And then the black was just to tie in the loyal to the game and the black stitching. Did I mention that? I put black sewing machine stitching around each of the arrows, real stitching on the sewing machine. And this is it. So here is the finished piece. I am super excited with how this came out. Those blue enamel dots are gorgeous. I love the finish on those. They're beautiful. Can't wait to use more of those on my boy layouts. And super cute, huh? So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stick around for next week when I'll have another KK layout to share with you.